Hi, Dawson. It's Jonathan Schoenwald, and I cannot wait to see you. I'm going to be there starting on July 1st, and can't wait to meet all of you and to start to get to know everything that's amazing about Dawson. There's so many things that come to mind when I think about Dawson's strengths. The first, of course, though, has to be the relationships among all the people there. First and foremost, among the students and the teachers, their connections are obvious, they're deep, they're super critical to the learning of every individual student. And then when I go beyond that, I always think about the experiential learning that every student plays a part in and has that opportunity to participate in. I have not seen any school come close to what Dawson gives its students in terms of experiential education. And then beyond that, just the potential, the actual physical environment of the school, the resources that the school has, everything is really right there that helps it create not only what we have now, which is an amazing place, but the potential to go even further. Yeah, that's kind of the holy grail for every school, or at least schools, I'd like to say like Dawson. We're always trying to ensure that students are challenged, students have those chances to kind of expand and explore, while also kind of ensuring that we retain health and well-being as a top priority. So I think the first thing I always think about is that rigor does not equate to volume. A rigorous school doesn't mean that students are getting 6 or 8 hours of homework a night. A rigorous school means that you're challenged, right? You're pushed. You have teachers who are your partners in that process. They want to see you excel, but they also know it's the students who need to do the hard work. So really the first thing in my mind is that you need to learn how to think critically. You need to learn how to kind of pursue analytical reasoning and analytical depth. You need to learn how to write well. All of those fundamentals, they're going to hold constant no matter what the technology brings us. The thing that we think about most immediately in a school like Dawson is that we're preparing students for that first step that comes after Dawson, which is college. So we need to make sure that we're preparing students to go to any school they want to go to. So that means a couple of different things. The first is that the curriculum needs to be not only kind of up to date, but also innovative. But the second part to making sure that students are successful in the college application process is that it's not only the curricular side of things. What's happening at Dawson is we have a real, what I would call unfair advantage compared to our peer schools. There's no one who can do experiential learning better. Where we need to expand that is, let's think about the marketplace. Let's think about innovation in terms of internships. All those things come together in the college application process. And that's really where we're going to see Dawson improving and growing in terms of where we start to see innovation in our academic programming. The most important thing in a school like ours is the academic program. It needs to be rigorous, it needs to be innovative, it needs to be challenging. We need to make sure that our students are positioned so that they're at the same level or higher than the best students in the United States, and one might argue around the world at this point, because it is such a global, education is such a global environment these days. The second thing that to me is most critical is the leadership and communication that comes from people like me. We have some amazing, outstanding academic leaders at Dawson, and I want to make sure that they're thriving and they're able to really take what they know and start to build and grow what we're already doing. The third thing that I think about in terms of my own priorities is just a very simple and straightforward idea that our college counseling process and outcomes needs to be second to none. going along with that is just kind of the positioning of the middle and the upper school relative to other schools in the Boulder area. And then I would again argue for, in the Mountain West and across the United States, we really need to think of ourselves as aspiring to be at the top echelon there. And then last, but definitely not least, is athletics, the arts, and all of the co-curricular activities. I did competitive athletics in high school and in college. I know the value, I know what I learned from that. And I also know that it's not just people who are interested in athletics who gain from co-curricular activities. The arts are incredibly important to so many students. Different activities like robotics, DECA, Model UN, competitive chess, all of these things help students discover who they are and what their passions are. And there's nothing, in my experience, I would say, there's nothing like students when they see a real world opportunity where they can compete against their peers. So all of those things, I think, those have to be some of our major priorities. So I always feel like in terms of especially communication, there's a couple ways to think about it. The first is just kind of a straightforward, simple responsiveness. Much more important is kind of what frames all of communication, and that needs to be kind of the transparency of what's going on inside of the school. How is the school thinking about its direction, right? And then beyond that, it really needs to be a dialogue. It needs to be kind of ongoing communication. And that happens both in kind of, established places where we'll set up for kind of more formal meetings, but it's also informal. It's at events, it's getting together for meals. It's all those things so that we know exactly what families are thinking about, what's troubling them, what's going really well. And so I'm always going to be thinking about what is it that we can improve about Dawson so that every single student's experience is the absolute best it can be. That's going to happen when we're very clear about, hey, here are our expectations, right? Here's what we're going to do for you. Here's what we expect from you. And all of that starts to really sync up and, again, provide an amazing experience for every single student. There's nothing better than starting at a new school and starting to meet the students. Like that to me is the real joy about any job in a school. It's always the students. And then of course, getting to know the faculty and the staff, the families, the alums, getting to know the community, because I always say, the school is the people. At its core, any school is really about its people. And then, of course, I can't wait to really experience, some of the signature moments, the signature events that Dawson, is so proud of, having, grown and developed traditions over so many decades. So things like the fall trips, some of the athletic and the artistic events that take place in the fall. Winterim is a huge thing, clearly. So all of those things I'm just super excited about.